Hey everybody, it's about 12:58. Heading into Maryland. I'm going to go to Boonesboro and get some feed from the feed store. I believe we've made this ride together before. But today, kind of want to talk about something that I've been thinking about real hard lately, and that's reflection. You take your life today and you reflect where you were before, and hopefully you're in a whole lot better spot than you were years ago. Case in point, it's been almost 5 years since I gave up a lifestyle that I thought was the best thing for me. Being wild and free, not answering to nobody, being single, having my own place, doing what I wanted. All those things when I was growing up, I was telling myself that I really wanted. That's the way I want to be when I get older. That's how I want to retire. I want to be older. I want to have my own place. I want to have people in and out, if you know what I mean. No commitment. And just be happy. And I'm here to tell you, as I'm really close to hitting the age of 54 years old, that I did that. I had my own place. I had them in and out the door. God, I had no one telling me what to do. And that's what I thought was going to make me happy, but it didn't. I wound up being so miserable and being so lonely that I couldn't stand myself. Look at the little bird, get out of the way. I hit one last time I was on this road. I was unhappy. And though I had so many people coming around, I was so lonely it wasn't even funny. It sure was rough. And it got rougher. There was people that were really close to me in life that either turned on me for one reason or another, mostly my own fault, or just walked away. And I found myself feeling so bad about myself that most of the time I was the one walking away. I wouldn't have anything to do with people. I removed myself from activities the friends were having, parties or get-togethers or anything else like that, because I just thought everybody was looking at me like the way I felt about myself. It got to the point where people just stopped asking me, "Hey Terry, do you want to do that this weekend? Terry, do you want to come over this weekend? Terry, do you want to do anything with us? Do you want to come with us here? Do you want to come with us there?" I would always say no. And most of the time I would be locked up in my house, partaking in things that I really shouldn't have been doing. So I hear a lot of people always say, that they would like to be able to pick up and move away and leave everything behind and start all over. And I think it's funny because most of them, 99% of those people, are just talking. But I'm here to tell you, I did it. I've done it a few times in life. A few times thinking it was going to be better for me, or I was going to be able to change because I did it. Well, I didn't. I moved out of Maryland and moved to North Carolina thinking, I had a girlfriend and I had a new baby, and I thought, if I could just get away from all the influences and all the things I was into in Maryland, I could change and I could be a good man. Well, that didn't work. It didn't take long before I was into the same activities and doing my girlfriend wrong and my son wrong at the same time. Just like when I got married, when I was 21 years old, I had a baby coming. And I thought that once I got married, some drastic change was going to come over me and I was going to be a different man. Yeah, that didn't work either. Basically, I had something going on the whole time before I got married and even after. Oh man, changes. But I will say, the day that I decided to leave out of North Carolina and move to West Virginia was like the smartest move I ever made. I came to West Virginia. I moved into a big, beautiful house, like the kind I've never lived in my life. I had somebody in my life that really treated me good no matter what I did, and I was screwing up. I was screwing up left and right. She just kept her mouth shut. She figured that I was either going to go back to my old ways or I was going to change. In other words, she was going to let me self-destruct if that's what I wanted to do. Well, I didn't want to do that. Even though it was hard to walk away from something that I left in North Carolina, I still knew deep down the best thing for me was to get out of North Carolina alive. Literally. I felt like I wasn't going to make it alive, or I was going to wind up in jail, all because of the same situation. And I was really sad. Just like I said the other day about my dog. If it wouldn't have been for my dog, I don't know if I'd be here today. I don't know if any of y'all feel about your animals the same way. You know, you look at your dog that loves you unconditionally and you're like, well, if something happens to me, what's his life going to be like? So, you know, well, I'll give it another so many years until he's gone, and then I'll rethink this whole situation. But it doesn't matter anymore. The change that I made coming to West Virginia and being around the people I'm around now, which is basically my family and my church family, that is a big deal. Those people have changed me unbelievably. My life has turned around, and I'm actually happy nowadays. If I died tomorrow, if I died today, I'd die a happy man. You know? I'm living my life today like I always wanted to. I don't have to pretend to be hard. I don't have to pretend that things don't hurt me or upset me. And I don't have to be that guy that I've always felt like I had to be in order to be strong around other people. So no one would, you know, think that something would get to me or something could affect me or all those things. But anyway, I wasn't the best father in the world. I'm still not, but I am getting closer and closer to my kids every day. As I've grown up and matured, I think I'm there for them now more than I ever have. You know, emotionally, physically. Because I ran for years. I ran for a lot of years. I would pick up and go to another state like it wasn't nothing. If you ever hear the song, The Baby by Blake, what's his name? Blake something. That basically describes my life. I moved around, bounced around. I never sat still for very long. But the best thing I ever did was leave a lot of bad situations. I mean, I miss my best friends in North Carolina. But I think they're happy for me that I'm where I am. And I have got to see them since a few times. And that makes me happy when I get to see them. And I think they're really happy that I'm happy nowadays. Even though I know I kind of pissed them off here and there with some things I did and said which were wrong, out of anger or out of hurt. But as a reflection, I'm reflecting back today as I go out here and get feed for my birds. You know, I raise pigeons, and I raise now American game fowl. And a long time ago, I had heard a guy say, in order to raise anything, basically, you can't be a drug addict and you can't be a drunk, because you're not going to take care of things. You're not going to be responsible for the things, most likely. You know, I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, but to do it right, you have to be dedicated. And back in the day, I was really dedicated when it came to these birds. Maybe not the pigeons so much because I didn't have them back then. But as for the American game fowl, yeah, I had a bunch of them and I was dedicated big time. And I think anybody that knows me back then knew that I was. You know, I've been going to the same church for over 4 years now. And it's really funny that, like, the first year I went, yeah, I was smoking the wrong stuff. And I would even smoke before I went to church. Yep, sure would. I know that was a mess, and it got to a point where, you know, I'd always used it as a crutch, self-medication, if you might want to call it, because my life was so stressful and so up and down and round that I needed something to level it out, and I always used that as a crutch. But it's funny, after going to church there for a year, one day I decided, you know what? Since I was 11, I had been smoking, and I had one stint for 18 months that I didn't drink or smoke nothing. But I started back again. I never had been an alcoholic. I don't like drinking that much, but I always liked smoking weed, and I already had experiences on the other stuff to where I knew better. I learned my lessons. You know, I went through the jail systems, and I went through the rehabs and stuff, and I got clean, and I decided I'm not going back into that. But I always stayed with the weed, and it was always my go-to. If things were going bad, if things were going good, if things were going anywhere, that's what I used. But it's funny, like nowadays, I don't do that. I quit on my birthday almost 2 years ago. This coming June 1st will be 2 years that I went cold turkey and just stopped. I used to think about stopping. It would be mornings I would wake up. It had gotten so bad for like 4 or 5 years, I would like throw up every single morning from anxiety. It was that bad. And I knew when I decided to quit smoking weed, I said, this is not going to be good. But you know what? I prayed about it, and I quit. And I have not went back. And nowadays to go back seems like it would be a step back in my life. That's one way I don't want to go. So I reflect back on the way it was and the way it is now. And most of it is because I did pick up. I did walk away from a lot of bad things that was hurting me, and got into a situation that was good for me. And I could finally be me after all these years. Anyway, I just rolled into Maryland. And as you see, it's 25 mile speed limit, and I'm doing 30, trying to slow down, but geez, it's hard to go 25 miles an hour. There we go. Let's set the cruise control so I don't screw up. And I'm getting ready to get out here and find me a gas station because my gas gauge is saying I got 27 miles to go. There's a gas station right down the road from here, though, so it's okay. But anyway, I just wanted to reflect today. Just wanted to say, you know, that's the way it is today in my life. I hope yours is going good. I hope your life is good. And if not, just don't be afraid to walk away from the things that hurt you, because there is a better way. Now, granted, I could pick religion apart. I could pick a lot of things apart that are good for me. I could fall in love with somebody and pick them apart to death where I don't love them anymore. But sometimes you just have to love them. You just have to believe in things. If I didn't have something to believe in, I would fail. I also believe in myself on top of everything else. And I believe in the people around me, or I wouldn't be around them. I'm a pretty good judge of character. Today's 57 degrees. It's kind of cloudy. I might be letting some birds loose later on today, but anyway, just thought I would share that with you today as I roll through the little town of, I believe this is Boonesboro. I don't know if this is Boonesboro or not, to tell you the truth. It's just a little town. One lane road, 1,500 feet. You got to turn up here anyway. Just wanted to say that, and I hope y'all don't mind me babbling on. Y'all have a great day.